Thomas card with a sweet one, please. Someone flips me a bag body. So, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full span, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
Good evening. It is iBoxingHub's Hard Talk USA. And I'm joined tonight with my co-host. That is my good friend Jams from Jams Boxing Chat. How you doing, big man?
I am very good, thank you, Mr. Neutral, mate. Pleasure to be on the show, as always.
Glad to hear it. Just to let everybody know, this show is sponsored by our partners at iBoxingHub, D-Rock Apparel. Check out the website. If there's anything you want, just rock and roll with it, like the likes of Johnny Nelson, Joseph Parker. And look, our man Jams has got one as well. Look at that. Looks fantastic. Put the code. It's a promo code, iBoxingHub24. You put that in and enjoy 40%. Yes, 40% off all your purchases. Right, Jams, episode 13. Unlucky for some. Hell, hopefully it's good for us. We will be having some guests joining us a bit later, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he comes through. Probably one of the United States' most emphatic phenomenons in one, Joseph Awonyonga Jr., the Ghanaian. His father's Ghanaian, so the son of, and yeah, this boy is absolute mustard. Jams, you wouldn't believe the statistics on this boy. 6'3", 16. He weighs 154 pounds, 11 stone, and 16, and that's for training.
Wow.
Graduated college at 16 with an associate's degree, and is looking to go to university as well, for either business or nursing. It gives you a kind of clue what this young man's all about, and I can't wait to interview him and his father trainer, Joseph Awonyonga, a boxer himself back in the 80s, and shared the ring with Steve Cunningham, no less, and went the distance, Jams. So, yeah, I'm hoping the young man comes through. Invitations have been sent. The back signal is out. Jams, what a week it's been. Oh, who do we have here?
WSB Remy.
We have Remy in the building.
Remy's
Are you there, Rem?
How you doing, brothers?
Oh,
right,
very
Remy?
well, Remy. Thank you for coming through. As one of the panel here tonight, Remy, WSB Remy on Twitter. One of the Space Kings on Twitter X, for all you boxing knuckleheads, especially me. Love them, absolutely love them. Welcome to the show, mate. We're hoping
There's been a lot going on, bro. A whole lot.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's non-stop, absolute non-stop, as we all know. But you got it. We love it. That's what we're here for. So we got hopefully Joseph Awonyonga Jr. Say that in a straight line. Hopefully he's coming on the show in a wee bit to discuss with us about his growing up, his present plans and his future plans. And I'm pretty sure this boy is going to be hot property in the future. But nonetheless, let's start off with the episode title, Chaos at 168. We've all had the news. Canelo Alvarez has decided that the IBF demands that he fights William Skull. And he's chosen to opt for, obviously, the WBA mandatory, who was second in line there, Canelo versus Berlanga. That will be a PPV card. It will be on a BBC production on Prime. No doubt it will be a hefty price tag on that, Remy. Remy, I gather from Twitter, it's a fight that not many are calling for. However, give me your thoughts, mate, from your side of the pond. Are you there, Remy? Jams, let's put that over to you.
Okay, mate. Yeah, no worries. It's not a fight people are really looking for, but no one can say that Belanga's not earned a shot. He's 22-0-0, 17 knockouts. Yeah, it's not the Benavidez, but Benavidez had that chance to activate that Mando and didn't do it twice, maybe 3 times if you count the first one. So people can't be talking. They were talking about Chris Eubank Jr. That would have been a joke. Yeah, he's British. I'd have liked to have seen it from that perspective, but he is not good enough. He's lost every good fight he's ever had, apart from the rematch against Leon Beefy Smith. It's just Berlanga over Eubank Jr. It's a nonsensical decision. Berlanga takes it every day of the week. This man's 22-0 with 17 knockouts. Eubank Jr. loses all the big fights. Come on, mate, you know. Business makes sense makes money, money makes dollars and more, you know. It's as simple as that. Chris Eubank was never in the equation, and he priced himself out of it because it's an overhyped hype job.
Interesting you say that, James. He priced himself out of it. The reports coming out
Yeah,
from Ben
I can hear
Shalom.
y'all now. My bad, my connection.
Remy, that's good. Remy, did you hear the question?
You were asking about what did he think of Canelo and Berlanga?
Yeah. What's your initial thoughts as a, as a high, you've got your audience. What do you say to your audience about this announcement?
Well, bro, it's a little. I kind of prepared myself for this. I knew this was a possibility, and a lot of us like that in the know and that follow the sport kind of knew that Berlanga's been an opponent in mind for about a year now. Like they kind of primed us up for this shit to happen. So I always I hated the idea of it happening, not because I understood Canelo picking him. Like I got it. I've been telling people for months now too. Like I don't knock Canelo for going to get every bag that's left for him to get if he does believe David is the fight to make, which people are perpetuating, but I don't believe they're putting the dollars and cents behind David Benavidez that's necessary to make it to where it's like Canelo can't move from the position of what does he bring to the table for me. Like as much as people say they want to see David and Canelo, this doesn't remind me of like Errol and Bud Crawford. This doesn't remind me of even Canelo and Triple G. Like no, people aren't clamoring for it like they try to make it. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like people try to like the way people were talking about Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia fighting, the way people were talking about Devin Haney and Tank possibly fighting, even a fight that wasn't about to get made yet. That shit is not buzzing like that to me. Like people that like boxing and care about boxing to certain degrees care about that fight. But I think Canelo doesn't see true incentive in it for him to take the risk right now. And I think a lot of fans are only going to look from it from a fan perspective who they like more. But the realistic aspect of it is Canelo can get slandered for this though. Like I maintain this throughout my, speaking on this subject. I felt like if he didn't try to set up a fight with David in September based on the fact that people are asking for that fight, it is a better fight than Berlanga. It is a better fight than a Eubank Jr. Like if you want to tell us that you're fighting the best of the best every time out and things like that, it's no other comp than David Benavidez at 168. But since he's moved up, he's also gave Canelo an out, to be honest. Like if Canelo did plan to go about it in a fearful way, like let's just say for fucking conversation's sake, Canelo is a bit fearful of the risk of fighting David. He gave him out by going to 75. Like he gave it to him the first time by going, because after he beat Andre, he said, and I like the way people try to hold fighters accountable to their words. I'm going to do it with everybody. Then I'm definitely going to do it with David. After the fight with Andre, he said he was going to stay at 68. He was going to stay on weight, and he was going to make sure Canelo couldn't like sidestep him, and he was going to fight everybody that Canelo could possibly fight, so he would be unable to fight those guys. And I felt like a way he could have cornered him was fighting Morrell. Caleb was a move like that. Andre was a move like that, and then like another option would have been Morrell. That would have proved a point. I feel like it would have gave I have more accolades than this guy, but people think this guy is a worthy opponent, so I'm going to beat him. It would have been a real crowd pleasing move. I felt like, but at the end of the day, I do think it's a part of no, I wouldn't say David Benavidez himself. I think he wants to fight with Canelo, but I do think his team being more so like maybe Samson. I don't know who to put this on, but I do think they see like a silver lining in him being able to say Canelo ducked him. I do believe that.
There is the argument with that for Canelo that he knew David was mandatory for the WBC, although it wasn't ordered by Mauricio Suleiman. Now, this is where the grey area for me is. Because it wasn't ordered, it was basically left down to Canelo to say, right, well, I've got a choice of the WBC, Mando, David Benavidez. I've got a choice of the WBA, Mando. And I've got a choice of the IBF, William Skull. When he knows David's gone to 175 and lets out a statement saying that, that's his preferred route, brilliant. He's going after undisputed. But here's why for me. Canelo was waiting for him to activate his mandatory. That means that David Benavidez was only getting 30% of the pus, and he was possibly, inevitably, getting a very raw deal on the PPV points if Canelo felt obliged, because there's, in mandatories, he doesn't have to give a thing to David Benavidez. So for me, David's he's thought about this and gone, right, I'm not taking 30% off Canelo with no PPV points. There's no value on that. I'm just making money for Canelo. So my thing is, right, he's gone balls up to that. I'm going to 175. I'm going to wait my turn for Bivol and Beterbiev, and I'm going to get undisputed, but I can negotiate a better deal with Turki Al-Sheikh on a Turkey card for David Benavidez to fight for undisputed. Now that's going to run him minimum 15 million, I would say. Now that's going to be 3 times as much, maybe more, of what David Benavidez would done with a mandatory with Canelo. That's why I feel he hasn't activated it. He's gone for the big, big prize. If by some miracle he gets it, then he can go back to Canelo and say, if you want to fight, it's 50-50 and it's 50-50 on the PPV. Does that make sense to you, Jams?
It does, mate. Yeah, it does. And it makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, there is no way is he getting in the ring with Bivol or Beterbiev without being smashed to pieces or outboxed for 12 rounds.
Yeah.
It's like taking a death sentence over a 30-year stretch. I'd have took the 30%, mate, rather than the death
if you're
sentence.
going to go down, Jams, if you're going to go down, at least go down with 3 times as much money as you would do with Canelo.
Yeah, but I don't know, mate. I think Canelo on Cinco de Mayo, even 30% will probably be more than if he fights Bivol. Everyone knows that it's going to be a boring fight because Bivol is just going to absolutely master box him for 12 rounds.
But
Not
it's the financials, Jams. Forget the boxing. Forget the boxing. It's the financials. That is why.
Puts it
I think he has a better chance to beat Bivol than Beterbiev, just because I think it's possible for him to match that volume and punch with Bivol and not get hurt in comparison to Beterbiev, where he would to be quite honest with you, I'm not really seeing like maybe he could outbox Beterbiev, but if Beterbiev's body's been breaking down these past few years. He's hurt all the time, so that could also be something that catches up with him at some point.
I think the Bivol fight will finally expose that to be true. What you're saying, Remy, I do agree. If Beterbiev beats Bivol, then there's no. I think there's very little chance that David. And I think
Yeah,
we can all
David's
agree
fucked.
on that.
If Beterbiev just walks through Bivol and just takes his punch, like basically if that boxing shit does not work at all for him, oh man,
Yeah.
David's fucked. Everybody's fucked who's gonna see him. I just wonder, like, my only thing with Beterbiev too, when the fuck is he gonna leave that weight class, bro? Like, I don't like. I feel like nobody says anything about how long he's been at that damn weight.
Career light heavyweight.
Yeah, he's on some
39
Triple
years
G shit,
of
like,
age. Yeah,
and he fought at heavyweight
it's
in amateur,
amazing.
didn't he?
I think he was still light heavy. I think he's always been there. I know
No, because he fought Usyk. He fought Usyk.
Bevel was a super middleweight in his amateur days, and probably why he would do quite well down there especially if you fought Canelo. But let's go back to the Berlanga thing now, right? The fans are fuming, but what as we said there, he wasn't going to fight no Williams Skull and take a £10 rehydration clause. I don't know. You tell me, has Canelo ever defended the IBF belt? I don't know. Possibly through his mandatories, he is satisfied, but in their turn of rotation, they've turned around and said, well, it's William Skull. What are you going to do? And he's gone, well, I'm not taking William Skull. There's your belt. But I do see the sense in that as well, Remy, because if he's dropping that belt to William Skull will fight Shishkin, is it, Jams?
Yeah, Vladimir Shishkin, mate, it's looking like at 168.
Right. So that's a tough fight in itself for William Skull. And if he does get past that and gets that 160 strap, well, guess what? He's getting a Canelo fight next year because Canelo will want to be 2 times undisputed at 168. So it's starting to make sense. The chess moves by Canelo, business wise and for legacy. He'll satisfy pound for pound legacy again and keep him up there in the rankings. Is that a fair comment there, Remy?
I'll tell you this, bro. No, it's not, and I'll tell you why. He's not in the space where, like, fuck anything that looks a certain way. Canelo, this is what I think he's really sidestepping that may be bad in the hindsight for the like pugilists. Like, so you know how guys like Larry Merchant and Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman, there's still those echoes of Floyd was great, but he was blah blah blah. Like, Canelo setting himself up to get that on a high level. Like, he's kind of setting himself, like, me as a Canelo fan, I think it's fucking embarrassing the kind of excuses I have to make sometimes for certain moves he makes. And again, I've also, it's in context of the era, he does have one of the best resumes, but at the same time, a lot of we're coming off an era where a lot of guys weren't fighting each other. It was like a lot of that across the street shit was going on from about 2017, 18ish to just fucking last year, 2023, when I think the real breaking of the mold of that was with Terrence and fucking Errol finally fighting. So like now I feel like we're getting back into everybody starting to fight each other era with the stuff going on with Saudi, with Turkey. He's putting people in situations where they got to make the fights. It's a lot of with PBC leaving Showtime, there's more availability with their fighters to go to different companies, and more Top Rank is more willing to play ball. Golden Boy is more willing to play ball. Everybody's not operating from an in-house perspective anymore. But I say that to say that Canelo is kind of doing this shit at a terrible time where a lot of his peers are fighting in those types of matchups. So I think he may be being a little like short-sighted in that way. If he like wants a certain conversation to be had about him when his career is over. If he doesn't fight David, that's going to be a stain. I'm not going to lie. Like, as much as we can say, like, all right, we believe David didn't do everything necessary, there's going to be a crowd of people saying that for a long time. And guys like Berlanga and Eubank, it's just like, bro, they're not nowhere near on your fucking level. Like Eubanks never won a real belt, you know, and it's not to shit on him. He's never won a real belt. He's world class, but he's not like he's not very good. He's like good, you know. And then Berlanga has done absolute jack shit. Like I like, to be honest with you, bro. Months ago when I first heard about that fight, that shit pissed me off, bro. Like just hearing their name connected to each other pissed me off. Like what the fuck do you mean Edgar Berlanga and Canelo Alvarez? Like when I was hearing that, I'm like, what? Like what the fuck are we talking about? Like no. Like fucking no. That's like fucking.
Did we not hear that same rhetoric though for John Ryder and what's his name?
Abney
Yildirim.
Brock, and that's what I'm saying, bro. He has too many fights like this. Like
so he's getting a bit of history, isn't he?
Yeah,
deciding to take these dodgy fights, if you like.
Exactly.
I've often said, Jams, that Canelo is on a managed decline.
He went out as soon as he was about to land. Like as soon as he was about to fucking, he went out as soon. I think he was gonna say a managed decline, though. I think because I understand that too. I think he was gonna say a managed decline, and that makes hell of a lot of sense because it seems that way. Because when you're on Canelo's level, it's just like Floyd Mayweather, right? When you're on Canelo's level. A guy like Floyd, man, he's in that seat, all right? He took over that seat that Floyd Mayweather had. He took over that seat. So when you take over that seat and you're fighting guys like Edgar Berlanga, that shit is to be frowned upon. Like no matter what. It's like as a pugilist, I gotta frown upon it because this guy is not supposed to be in the ring with you. He's not. You're supposed to be so much better than him, you can fight someone better than him. You know, like
let's talk about this fight then. We'll start with you, Jams. You know, you saw Berlanga's last fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad performance, but you know, he was the one calling out Canelo after that. What can we take from watching Berlanga? Because I've not watched a lot of him. I will be honest. I think I've watched the last 2 or 3 of his fights. He appears strong in some segments of his work. But you tell me.
He's got that knockout power. He's always a danger man because of that knockout power. But you know, Canelo is stealth. Canelo's not getting knocked out by no Edgar Berlanga, mate. So that can go out the window straight away, and that takes away Berlanga's best advantage is landing that one shot that's going to take him out. Because Canelo ain't going to sleep for no Berlanga. He would never allow it. It just wouldn't happen. And if it comes to boxing skills, Canelo's just going to walk this guy. To be honest, I know Canelo don't stop many men anymore. I still fancy Canelo to stop him within 6. But at the end of the day, other than Benavidez, and like most of us know why he's not taking the Benavidez fight, because he disrespected him. You know, he could have had that fight, but he was talking trash. He went too far with it. And Canelo basically said, I'm not going to give this guy the clout or the payday. So I'm not going to give him this platform to be the man by fighting me. You know, I don't think he's scared of him. I don't think it's he don't want to box him. I think it's because he disrespected him too early on in his career. He hadn't earned that right yet. I still stand by that. I'm not saying Berlanga's earned the right, but he's earned it more than Chris Eubank Jr. So out of the pickings, this is the best guy for the job. You've got a guy who disrespected him.
Berlanga didn't earn tickets to no fuck. Berlanga didn't even earn tickets to his fucking fight, bro. That's my only thing, bro. That's my only thing. Like, and this is the problem with that argument, Jams. Like, I also I understand your premise, right? I agree with that. I believe that like certain shit David cannot say about Canelo, right? Like you can't question his accomplishments. You can't question a lot of things, but he can question whether he wants to fight him or not, simply because like it's one of those things. It's like, bro, David was the people's champ. I blame him for not getting the opportunity in the first place, right? In the first place, it's his fault. He should have been in the lineup of Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith. He should have been in that lineup, and maybe Canelo would have went to see him first or last. We'll never know because the way that played out. And then David chose to kind of go the contender interim route once Canelo got all the belts. Now, one thing I do blame him for is not pressing the issue with the WBC, simply because that's crossing all T's, dotting all I's. Once you do that, now the public perception can really be on your side. Like, now you have people who legitimately feel like they have an argument that David is ducking Canelo. Like, I seen that shit the other day. Like, people were legitimately saying that David ducked Canelo because he decided to fight Edgar, bro. Now, when you got those type of fanboys on your side, you gotta, and you're the B side, you have to fucking press the issue. You have to press the issue like Triple G did. Triple G, Laura, I don't think Canelo cares about the disrespect part. You have to box him in and make it worth his while at the same time. So David kind of fucked that up by going to 75, by not being able to hold the weight. Like, that's the aspect of it I blame him. But I do think Canelo has onus to, like, you know, play king of the jungle, be king of the hill. Like, you do have to shut motherfuckers up who put themselves in position. Like, David is like Antonio Tarver in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, Canelo's Roy Jones. David's like, you know, you could call him an Antonio Tarver type. Like, shut him up. Like, make him be quiet. Like, bro. And this, if I'm Canelo, I'm like, this motherfucker got. And this is, look, if I'm Canelo, I'm not trying to disrespect David when I say this, but I'm just like, I'm fucking Canelo Alvarez. This motherfucker got dropped by fucking Ronald Gabriel. Like, I'm finna go beat his ass. Like, you know, that would be my logic if I'm Canelo, but he must definitely see a threat there, Jam. That's my only thing. Like, I feel like it'd be like, Canelo should want to go put a pause on David's momentum right now. That's what Floyd would do. You know, like, if Floyd seen you getting momentum like this, where people are saying, oh, like, you can beat me. Oh, okay. You're coming off good wins. You fought a motherfucker I fought, and you fought a motherfucker I didn't fight that everyone tried to make it like I ducked. So I'm going to beat your ass real quick. You feel me?
Yeah, it's pretty much what Floyd did with Canelo when he was 23 years old, isn't it? He went and beat his ass, like, and took it from him and showed him who the boss was, who the real boxer was.
Exactly. And that's what I think Canelo needs to do at this point. He hasn't done that shit to nobody yet. Like, fucking Jaime wasn't that. Jaime was not that. And Edgar definitely isn't that. Edgar is not, like, bro, I will not let people try to push this Puerto Rican-Mexican rivalry with this shit. Fuck no. This is not nothing like that. This is fucking Chon Zepeda versus Jose Vargas, essentially. It's a one fighter that's way better than the other one that just so happens to be from Mexico and Puerto Rico. That's it.
That's light work, basically, for Canelo, is what we're saying.
Do you guys actually envisage a scenario that David Benavidez will ever fight Saul Alvarez Canelo?
Are you asking me or Remy?
Both of you.
Okay, well, I'll answer first then. I think they might be setting it up. I think they're building it up because at the moment, Benavidez is not drawing big crowds. His fight against Gvozdyk didn't do too well. He struggled in that as well. I know that was at 175. Maybe they're building it up, and maybe they're going to have it as Canelo's swan song. You know, his last ever fight, next Cinco de Mayo, next September. He fights Berlanga now, maybe gets Eubank Jr. in February, and then ends it with a Benavidez in September next year for Cinco de Mayo to say goodbye to all his adoring fans. Maybe that's what we're thinking. I'm not sure on that. I've got no inside facts, but I'm just thinking maybe that's what he's about.
I'll allow it.
I'm thinking something like that. But he keeps talking, Jams. The only reason I say maybe that's the plan in a couple more years. Like, I think what you're saying, but I think we're gonna have to deal with another like year or two of Canelo squeezing opponents out his ass, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I think that we might never see him and David, bro. Like, that might be a thing. But I think if David fights him, he's gonna have to make some like fucked up concession that is gonna make it to where it's like he has a terrible built-in excuse. You know, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's not looking good for that fight. Like, if David continues to fight at 75, what the fuck is the point of coming back down for Canelo unless this shit was about money the whole time? That's what's gonna look bad too. If he goes up to 75, gets the belts, and then, you know, is on some I'll come back down to 68 shit. It's like, bro, you're not trying to win the fight, bro. Like, I wouldn't want to see the fight at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're already fucking 230 walking around. You shouldn't even be at 68 anymore if we being real. And that's another thing. Okay, like that's where I understand that argument. People will say otherwise, but I understand the argument for Canelo. Like, man, this dude's a fucking weight bully, bro. Like, I'll wait his ass out all I want. Fuck that. He shouldn't even be in my weight class. Like, what the, like, this motherfucker's cutting 800 pounds, bro.
Yeah.
I know. I just see an ongoing saga with Canelo taking all these less than desirable fights, let's say, over the next 2 years. You know, does it not really feed the narrative that maybe we should look at a Crawford Canelo fight? Maybe we should look at a Morrell Canelo, something like that. I know Morrell's moved up to 175, but he's the kind of guy that can come straight back down. He's only young, isn't he?
Yeah, but he
So
needs a few more fights yet, Mr. Neutral, though, to be truthful.
yeah,
David Morrell, he had 10
but
fights.
again, these are the kind of names, James, that are getting banded about for Canelo. Eubank, Morrell, now it's Berlanga, was Munguia. I just get the sense that the craven will never be satisfied with Canelo.
That's truthful, mate. That's facts.
Yeah.
Bro, they did the same shit to Floyd Mayweather, bro. I used to question a lot of boxing fans, like, fucking, like, what's wrong with people? Like, I used to literally get so annoyed being a young Floyd Mayweather fan, because as a child, you hear people say, like, things are supposed to go this one way. I'm like, he's fighting all the best people, and people still keep making up fucking, like, oh, yeah, well, putting caveats and everything. Before the Canelo fight, oh, Canelo's too big for him. He's going to beat him up, blah, blah, blah. After the Canelo fight, he was too young. He beats before Oscar De La Hoya. Oh, Oscar De La Hoya is going to beat him. Blah blah blah. Blah. Afterwards, oh, it was a robbery. Oscar De La Hoya really won. No, the fuck he didn't. After the Berto fight, he's damn near fucking 40 years old. He fights Berto, a guy coming off one of his best wins. Fight Guerrero after getting, if I'm not mistaken, getting out of jail. Fight Manuel Marquez after a long layoff, or maybe that was when he got out of jail. Then the Guerrero was after the layoff. But either or, like, fighting tough comp after tough comp after tough comp, pound for pound guys, right? If you go look back at Floyd Mayweather's, each guy he fought, they all multiple division champs, all have Hall of Fame worthy resumes. And 100%. If you go talk to the wrong person, they will tell you that Floyd Mayweather was ducking someone. You talk about a fucking Margarito, right? Multiple losses. They say he tried to duck Shane Mosley when Shane Mosley was younger. Shane Mosley's on fucking camera saying Floyd Mayweather needs to fight someone else, and then he could maybe fight him. And right now he's not worried about it. He has a toothache. You go look at Oscar De La Hoya and them. None of those guys were calling his name, bro. And then it's like, when you get the cash cow seat, like, yes, everyone's gonna call your name. Like, that's what comes with the shit. That's the only issue I have with Canelo, because, like, you look at a Floyd Mayweather, a Oscar De La Hoya, Roy Jones, they fought their contemporaries, like all of them damn near, a good portion of them. And that's my only issue with Canelo, to play contrarian to it, because it's like, you didn't fight Jamal Charlo. You were supposed to get both Charlo brothers, Andre, both Charlo brothers, Andre, Triple G, Trout, Cotto, not Cotto, Lara, who else? Canelo was gonna fight Paul Williams. I'll give him that. Who else? He's missing a bit too many of his contemporaries.
Tell you what, you mentioned Charlo there. Hasn't he just been stripped for drink driving, stripped of his WBC title? I say just, it was in like May, wasn't it?
He's just lost
at this
lineal.
point, James, that shit is dead in the water. But I meant, like, earlier. Like, instead of fighting fucking Beefy, he could have fought Andre. Instead of fighting fucking I think he moved up to 75 and, like, took the franchise at 60 or some shit, and he could have fought Charlo. Like, and he could have been undisputed at 60 at one point. Like, just,
Yeah.
But I know someone said you can't fight everyone. That's true. That's very true. But the guys that Canelo could have fought, they didn't lose, and he could have fought them. Like, with Floyd, those guys kind of lost on their way to fighting Floyd. The fights I would say Floyd Mayweather Jr. missed, you could say, is fucking Winky Wright. I'll take that
Yeah.
one, given the circumstance. Winky Wright and you
Margarito.
kind of can say
Yeah,
you
but
kind. I was just
Margarito
gonna
was a
say you
cheap
kind of can
Ernie
say
with Paris
Margarito,
the Plaster and that.
Yeah. Yeah.
but he
No,
took the De La Hoya
but
fight instead of that fight.
see,
So I would say fuck
it's,
Margarito too.
Tell you something though,
yeah.
Remy.
Amir
Remember the
Khan.
fight
Amir
against
Khan is who I was
Marcos
gonna say.
Maidana?
I was
There's
gonna
a
say
stark
Amir Khan for
difference.
Floyd.
Yeah.
Marcos
It's a
Maidana
stark
fight was probably
difference
Floyd's
between
toughest ever fight.
Canelo
Sorry, Mr.
and
Neutral.
Floyd Mayweather. Now, I think people ask me why did Floyd Mayweather never go undisputed? And I said this: Floyd Mayweather was so good at business that undisputed would have killed his business. If he was to hold all the belts, then the fights dry up, the big fights.
Yeah, it'd have been
Because
four
maybe there's only
Mazos,
He
all
was
there's
shards.
supposed
only one or
to
two
be
contenders.
undisputed at 47 though, but Zab Judah
He was
kind of fucked it up.
undisputed. Oh, he was undisputed. But right. Well, with the benefit of not being able to move up,
He almost was. Yeah, he
Canelo
almost was
at this moment,
147.
because his last champion that he beat was Callum Smith, or was it Billy Joe Saunders? Or was it Caleb Plant? The fight that made him undisputed. I believe it was Caleb Plant, his WBO belt.
Yeah, it was Caleb Plant for the IBF. That was the last strap he had to get.
The
He
IBF.
fought.
There you go.
He fought freaking. I think he fought Callum Smith first. Then he fought Abney, if I'm not mistaken. Then he fought Billy Joe in Dallas. Then he fought Plant.
Yeah, you
If
know,
I'm not
Plant's
mistaken,
fight's
that
off
was
as well
the
now.
So,
Caleb
in
Plant's fight's been
effect,
postponed,
what he's
Neutral.
been doing, he's been defending his hardware rather than doing what Floyd did, was challenge champions. And like you rightly said, Remy, everybody's on his resume is a champion. You know, going back, I don't know, 8, 9 years after the when he transitioned from Pretty Boy to TMT. So for me, going undisputed dries you up. Look at Terence Crawford, for instance. His career sort of dried up when he became undisputed. Then he got caught in the peripheral of going to 154, top the Canelo fights. Then Boots has come back on the scene. So again, and there's who's the other undisputed? Is it Inoue? He's undisputed. So he's going to have the same problem at 122. But he'll run out of fights, and then it'll take him to move up to another weight division. Just carry
I
on
think
that
Oscar De La Hoya fought.
legacy.
I think you're right. I'm mistaken.
Yeah. So I can understand why the thinking, the narrative, Canelo doesn't take these great, the bigger fights. We know that David Benavidez would present Canelo with, out of all his contenders, his biggest problems, and that's for me is just like, he's dried up. Now he will have to move up for me if he wants to continue boxing. He will have to move up, and for me, once he beats Balanga, he's got, and if he fancies doing a William Skull to regain his belts after a Benavidez fight, I don't know, but he's either got to retire or move up. Remy. So, can we say with any confidence now that after Balanga, we're going to get the
I
same
didn't know I was
story?
muted still.
Yeah, we're going to get the same story time and time again with Canelo. And that's where the end of the career comes in, because if he doesn't move up, he'll just be fighting these 168 contenders all the time. But someone's going to do him at the end of the day. Just look at a couple of these messages in the chat. Floyd, Mrs. Margarito, Paul Williams, Stevie Johnson, etc., etc. That's fine. De La Hoya literally fought everyone. He missed Winky right in front of Forrest. Oscar did not fight Winky. Says Lucy, big up Lucy in the house.
Floyd never fought Costa Zoo either.
Yeah.
There's another one he could have
Burn
fought.
should
He
fight
didn't.
Big
But look,
Charlo. Now,
look, this is the thing, bro. This is the thing. When you start talking about guys like Costa Zoo, Floyd would have beat the shit out of him, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Oh,
Like
no doubt.
come on,
No
bro.
doubt.
Like some of the
Ricky
stuff we
Hatton
could use
smashed
our
him.
eye test. Floyd would have
it was a name. It was just a
if
name.
Floyd
at
would
the
have
time.
fought Costa Zoo. Exactly, bro. If he would have fought him in his prime, that would have been bad for Costa Zoo.
Yeah, I completely agree, Remy. But it was a fight that was talked about that never happened, though. Same as the Winky Wright one with Oscar De La Hoya. It's just
It was
one of them
Costa
fights that
was,
people wanted that never got.
Yeah. Right. Well, you know, that's the chaos
yeah,
at
Costa was with
168.
Showtime. Man. That's why that didn't happen.
Yeah. We're
And
gonna
then he got
drop.
battered. And then he got battered.
We're gonna drop 2 divisions. It's August the 3rd coming up
Oh,
next
yes.
week, and it's former undisputed champion Terence Crawford. UK fans, he's going for his 154 debut against Mazramov, the Uzbekistani unbeaten good amateur. For me, he's a unit. He's actually, you know, he's got great footwork, great speed. I think this is going to be a tough fight for Terence Crawford. The more I see of Mazramov, it more just cements the narrative of my rhetoric that, you know, he is going to maybe take Terence Crawford at this time in his career. Terence was seen playing basketball today, and Madrimov was in the ring. So I'm like that. I think people are overlooking Madrimov. Very dangerous thing to do. Remy, I know how good Terence Crawford is. I really do. But there's got to come a time in the elastic band of Terence Crawford's career where that could snap. Could this be the fight, or are you extremely confident from across the pond? And tell all these UK fans here, mate, what you think.
So I'm really splitting hairs on this, but based on like athletic fluidity the huge gap in athletic fluidity that I see, like Madrimov has good feet, but I would say his feet and his upper body aren't always on the same page. If y'all watch him fight, y'all see what I'm saying. And it's almost like a fucking the tale of two halves of your body, if that makes any sense to y'all. Like the shit he does with his upper body like negates his how he can get to you, how he could put himself in great position. And he has a tendency to lean over. And I always say, like, when you fight guys, it reminds me of like when Devin fought Regis Prograis. Like, given the fact that Madrimov does have way better feet than Regis, it's the same type of thing. He likes to get his offense off over his fucking feet for some reason. He throws punches over his feet a lot. And it almost like for somebody like Bud, it would be telegraphed. Like he's not fast enough to do that shit against Bud. So I could see Bud really countering him with fucking 2 and 3 punch combos at times once he gets his timing down and, you know, gets the range and speed that Madrimov has down and starts. And then that's another thing. Madrimov's variety. I feel like his variety is not there for where he's gonna give Bud trouble early because he's strong, he's sturdy, and he has the willingness to go for it and try to get in there and not be tentative. But I think Bud is gonna start whacking the fuck out of him like in the mid rounds, like hitting him with some shit in the mid rounds.
Now,
I think he's going to win a UD, though. I think he's going to win a UD, adjusting to the weight.
Unanimous decision based on his skills. You don't think he's going to knock him out?
He's going to outbox him, but it's going to be like it's going to be some power boxing involved where at times it may seem like he could get Madrimov out of there. If he knocks him out, I would not be surprised. I would bank on that happening in the later rounds, maybe 10-12 when Madrimov has gotten some wear. But this is me going off of Bud being the Bud I know him to be. You know, he is getting older, so we'll see. That's the thing that plays into Madrimov's hands. He has less tread on him. in the pro ranks. But he does have the amateur experience, so we'll see.
Also on the undercard, we have Andy Cruz. We have Jams.
Isaac Cruz.
Here. Isaac Cruz.
Got Isaac Cruz against Valenzuela. We've got Andy Ruiz against Big Baby Miller. We've got Jared Anderson against Martin Bacoli. David Morrell Jr. against Reddy Havo Kaladzic. We've got Andy Cruz against Antonio Moran. So it's a good card, mate. It's a good card for me.
It is. Is it going to be worth Is it going to be worth the $80 to the US fans, Remy? Don't think so, me. Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for American fans, but I just feel that's a hell of a lot of money, isn't it? Just to watch a card over in the States.
Same every time they get a pay-per-view in the States, so neutral. It's the same every time. They have to pay $80, $90.
They robbing us.
Fucking
$2,000 a year for pay-per-view.
Oh,
it's a lot of money, Remy, isn't it?
And I mean, that's what they said. They want to put 12 pay-per-views at $80. Oh, minimum 12.
That's crazy.
And then sort of try and, give you a sweetener and say, oh, here's 20 free shows we're going to do. Well, we're still waiting for them.
And you have to pay for the subscription for that as well.
Well, that's part of the plan, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I unsubscribed. I canceled the Zone years ago, bro, because of that shit. Like, they kept changing their price. I'm like, bro, y'all said, because I remember the pay-per-view is dead bullshit. I remember that. I don't know if everybody else does. We really far removed. I remember that bullshit. They were parading Canelo around and shit. Oh, we got Canelo. And, fuck everybody else. They thought it was over with. They thought, they thought pay-per-view. And when the Zone started doing pay-per-views, that was some of the funniest shit to me. Like, that's like, I don't know. That's like that's crazy, bro. Like, don't contradict yourself like that.
Yeah.
It was against everything they promised.
Completely reversed the whole strategy on that. But Eddie, probably on hindsight is inevitable. Yeah. Now,
Eddie was in the shithole with me at that time, for sure.
Well, it looks like our man Jojo is not going to be with us tonight. So let's move on. We got a fight tomorrow night, a few fights on tomorrow night, Jams. Let's talk about our favourite fight tomorrow night. And I'll be doing a watch along for this for iBoxingHub. And it'll be Clarissa Shields versus Journice of Canada for Vanessa Journice for the, it's actually for two belts, the light heavyweight.
Yeah, it's the light heavy and the heavyweight. It's the light heavy interim and the heavyweight 175 title.
The last time I saw that was Sugar Ray Leonard back in 1988, 89. And he fought, I can't even mind who he fought now.
LaDonda.
Two belts.
LaDonda.
I said Daniel Alondi. Yeah.
And
that's the last time. Yeah,
to be honest,
that's the last time I seen that.
I wasn't even fucking born then.
It does happen, mate. Yeah, I'm ancient, mate.
No, I love Ray Leonard a lot, so I knew about that fight. That's when he came back, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Who you got winning tomorrow then out of Clarissa and Joannisa? Or Joannise? It's got to be the one.
Yeah, let's get on to that fight. First and foremost, you've all seen the face-offs in the weigh-in.
She looks fine with that red hair.
Clarissa doing her Ebony Bridges impression.
Only prettier. Ebony
Bridges.
I
was glad about that.
Yeah, I bet you are.
She looked fire with that red hair, mate. She looked fire with that red hair.
Yeah, sight to behold.
I've watched it 10 times already. Trust me, I've watched it 10 times already.
She was pretty thick.
So I was arguing with Al Heyman today.
She's big and strong.
Behind the scenes, our very own Al Heyman, yours truly, Trey. And I'm saying, and I'm, you know me, I'm one of these guys. I always go against the favorite. I don't know. I'm an underdog king. I love the underdog in any bout. and I root for them. I don't know why, even though when I know
Not in
after
this
they're not
one.
going to do it. Yeah, but Scott. But let's see. I had a look at a couple of her fights, and I've seen a training video. Not bad. She does seem to see. She sets on the punches, and she's got a good knockout rate for a heavyweight. Jams, are you seeing it as, I know you're a great fan of Teresa. Are you just
Yes,
seeing it
mate.
as a straightforward, run of the mill routine fight for Teresa? Or is she going to come up against a serious opponent for Jean?
I think Shanisa, however you pronounce it, Joanisa, will have a fight for the first round or two, but Clarissa's just going to overpower her. She looked bison at the weigh-in, at the presser. Like, even her bum was twice the size of the other girl. You know what I mean? She's going to go out there, mate, and put it on her, and she is going to knock her out.
Now,
I'd give
is
it...
is there
I
an
know Clarissa's
argument
not
that,
a big knockout artist, but I think Clarissa's going to
yeah,
go for the knockout here and
she's
take
only
her
got
out within
two
6.
knockouts to her name. Uh,
But
for,
trust me, she
but
looks
with
big
that
and thick.
extra,
She's going to clean up.
yeah, what was the last fight? 160, was it, Remy? The
I
middleweight
think
fight.
168, if I'm not mistaken. 160 was
Right. So
160.
all right. So she's
She's
come
moved
up.
through all the weights, isn't she? She's moved up a
Yeah,
lot of
she's not.
weights over the
She
years.
Yeah. She was undisputed at 54, 60, and one is 54, 60, 68. Yeah. She's been
is that going
undisputed
to
at 68 also.
is that going to inhibit her movement, which she's very very good at?
I don't think
Being
so.
that
She's looked really
heavy.
sharp in all the
Um,
videos I've seen.
I think she's just going to have more power. She's going to be the same
she's
quote
she's
with more
still, see.
power.
I've not seen any, so that's where you have to. Yeah. So she
She
has
looks
Exactly.
tremendous
looking
shape.
good
As Trey would say,
in the training,
tremendous.
transferring that almost a stone onto onto a frame, and I just hope she can transfer that, because I mean, at the end of the day, Caress is Caress. She's
I think
the
she
goat.
can, mate. There's only one quote for a reason, Mr. Neutral. And Clarissa is the only one quote. People talk about Serrano, about bloody Baumgartner. They're not the quote. There's only one quote, and that's Clarissa Shields. Simple as that. She will knock this girl out, make it light work, and move on to what she wants to do next. She's the Canelo of the female boxing world.
Yeah,
She
I
does
would
what she
imagine
likes.
But my only thing is, too,
99.9%. On you go, Remy.
no, like my thing is too, like from what Clarissa showed me, like bro, she's levels above the other women in the sport, bro. Like it's like fucking like it's not even like bro. It's like it reminds me somewhat of the Ronda Rousey era. It's like except boxing has much more skilled women in the sport compared to what UFC had when Ronda Rousey was doing her thing. She literally goes in and you see like she's just better at this shit than the other women, bro. Like she has the better IQ. She just knows what to do at all times to get the W. She just knows how to get the W. Joannis does look pretty athletic. She looks strong. She isn't a pushover either. And that's the thing about what Clarissa doing. She's really pushing herself. Like she's taking whatever possible smoke she can get that's worth taking at this point. And once she goes up and does this shit, this is her like Roy Jones, John Ruiz move. Like, she's always been number one pound for pound. It's always pissed me off when they've tried to put Katie Taylor over her because come on, bro. It's like
Not in a
that
million
shit is,
years.
yeah, bro. It's like Katie Taylor is solid and she does have a crowd pleasing style, but she ain't fucking with Clarissa. Like, come on, bro.
No,
Come on, bro.
that'd be a joke, mate, if she tried to put herself
I'll have a
against that
question
side.
for you before we move to close the show, and Jams will give the chat and everyone an idea of who else is fighting tomorrow night. But Caressa, there's no doubt if she wins tomorrow, she will cement in deep foundations the brand, the name, the GOAT.
The
But I have a
quote.
question for you. I have a question for you two gentlemen. And just say the name. Layla Ali or Caressa Shields?
Clarissa for me.
Clarissa, no doubt.
Remy.
I think, like, to be honest, Clarissa has she's done so much more than other female boxers, bro. It's like it's safe to say like she got that #1 position. I would give it to her right now. I would give it to her right now. Like I'm not gonna lie, I don't even want to. And it's not because like I love Clarissa as a person, I really do. And like she's really down to earth. She speaks with us.
You spoke to her. You've had her on your space, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, I've been on her spaces with her. I've co-hosted.
Oh,
her
you've
space
been on
with
her space, yeah, right.
But
so,
bro, she's got the accolades to back it. 2-time gold medalist. Only time that's ever happened in American history. People don't realize, like, and this is the
defended
thing
champion. Aye.
She has way too much hardware. Like people act like she talks a lot of shit. Like a person with that much accolades can do that. She's like fucking bro. She's on the Serena Williams, the Floyd Mayweather, Michael Jordan, Kobe. She's a fucking winner. She's a winner.
She's the
GOAT. Like a GOAT. She's just because she isn't in her fucking old age. Like respect the shit that we're seeing right now. Like people don't understand that. Like you gotta respect the greatness. This is greatness we're witnessing right now, and this weekend is another opportunity for her to make even more of a gap between her and everyone else.
I completely agree, Remy and Mr. Neutral. The reason I think people don't like Clarissa is because she doesn't back down. She doesn't just sit there and take the bullshit. She doesn't let them just slag her off, you know, calling her ugly, calling her fat. Come on, man, the girl's fire. How can anyone call her fat or ugly? It's like, get a grip, mate. It's just jealousy.
Well, I haven't seen that myself, and I hope not to see it either. Yeah,
how can anyone call that ugly or fat,
see.
mate? She's in better shape than we could ever dream of.
Right.
Because people are just jealous. It's just jealousy, pure jealousy. If
Jams,
she was all meek and mild like Kate Taylor, they'd all be up her arse, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. It would though, wouldn't it? If she was all meek and mild and like, oh, sorry, my love, you know. She stands her ground and don't take no shit.
I think the sports world still doesn't appreciate like braggadocious women.
Strong women.
Yeah.
That's it, bro. That's it.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. Obviously, her idol was the great Muhammad Ali, the GOAT, if you like. And she's very much a similar personality, very outspoken. Like you said, Jams, doesn't back down. Love that. Strong, resolute, and unwavering in her belief.
True champion.
And that what makes her brilliant and great. Right, Jams, just let the audience know what fights we got to look forward to tomorrow night, starting with the Chisora and Joyce card.
Yeah, we've got Derek Chisora against Joe Joyce. So that's the only one that really matters, to be honest. But what's your thoughts on that one, Remy?
Can I make a comment on that, James? Can I make a comment on that? I just need to ask y'all a question. How in the fuck does Chisora keep headlining, bro? Like how? Like what the fuck? Like how?
Just because he's mental. Did you see him turn up today wearing a Zhilei Zhang mask?
Man, he
turned up wearing Zhilei Zhang's face on his face to scare Joyce. God, he's a nutbag, mate. He's an absolute nutter. He's a nutter.
Who does he got fucking black? Who did he blackmail to get on all these fucking cards, bro? Like
it's just the entertainment value, Remy. He brings it. He wears his bandana across his face. He comes out and he fights any man, throws tables. It's just entertainment, you know what I mean?
He's actually co-promoter for this fight tomorrow.
He's just a nutbag. He's a nutbag, mate. He's a nutbag.
Yeah, he's co-promoter.
He's the fucking strongest B-side in the history of fucking B-sides at this point.
That's it. We've also got Moses Atoma against Marius Wack.
He's just entered the top 10 WBO rankings as well. Big up Moses. Who else, Jams?
Great talent.
I believe you got Dennis.
I wonder if him and maybe him and Jared Anderson, him and Richard Torres, maybe that could be some crash courses.
That'd be a cracker. Absolute cracker.
We've got Dennis McCann against Ionet Baluta. Baluta's the only
Big up
one
Dennis
to stop
McCann.
What's his face? I can't remember his bloody name now. Baluta stopped Andrew Kane. He's the only one to stop Andrew Kane, who knocked out Ashley Lane last weekend. So he's a very decent operator. So that's a good fight. We've got Royston
He'll be
Barney
looking for
Smith.
revenge after that split draw.
That's it, mate. That's it. Yeah. He came back and cleaned his clock. We've got Barney Smith against Brian Barajas, which is a good fight. Royston Barney Smith's on the crest of a wave. He's a young lad, very exciting talent from London. And then the last one, we've got Ryan the Piranha Garner against Archie Sharp. which is
Ryan
another good
Garner, Archie
fight.
Sharp. That's another belter of
Southampton
a
lad,
fight.
very highly touted talent down in the UK, so that'll be a good fight as well, mate.
And so,
Oh, and Tony Yoka's fighting too, but I don't rock with that guy, to be honest. He's French, so.
right, guys. I want to thank Remy, my co-host Jams, for tonight's show.
God bless.
Big up, guys. Thank you very much. If you check your the good guys' socials out, WS Remy on Twitter, Remy's Corner Talks, great spaces. Everybody, come out and tune in. He has some fantastic content. And Jams Boxing Chat, check them out on Boxing Media Hub. Guys, thank you. This show was sponsored by D-Rock Clothing. Neutral's Hard Talk, Mr. Neutral's Hard Talk USA. There you go. Check them out in the website. Help yourself to 40% off by just typing in iBoxingHub24 into the promo code. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Till next time.
God bless,
See you
guys.
later, fellas.
See you, Remy.
It's another bang. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I start my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me up.